just about to head into the deepest, darkest part of the motocross off-season. With no major dirt bike racing action to speak of until the sweet release of 2014, it's gonna be a long few weeks. However, the Paris Bercy Supercross has provided us with just about enough insane action to keep us going. And also RedBull are keeping us excited with the possibilities of their latest project.
This is the plug.
Right, so let's head over to Paris to start things off, shall we? The Paris Bercy Supercross is one of the oldest and most prestigious races in the game. And for good reason. It's an awesome event which attracts awesome riders with awesome fans. And as I said before, it provides us with so much action. Enough action to fuel our motocross fires throughout the cold, dark, dirt bikeless months anyway. And with so much going on over the 3-night event, I hardly know where to begin. Okay. Friday was carnage. That pretty much sums it up, really. Everyone was trying to get their heads around the format. The crowds and the riders' excitement was at its highest, which resulted in some crazy on-track action. First of all, we had some great racing in the heats. Then we had that intense super pole. Then the crazy reached its peak in the elimination races, with Will Hahn and Jordi Tixier coming together over that big finish line double, resulting in Hahn doing a fully fledged front flip, without his bike might I add, over a hay bale onto the other side of the track. He was lucky not to get injured. Speaking of being lucky not to get injured, Jordi Tixier survived that incident to ride another day and continue into the next round of the elimination races. And the next round started well for Jordi Tixier. He was up front early in second place until he managed to run over his own head. Yup. How do you go about running over your own head, I hear you ask? Well, Jordi was kicked and ejected through the bars, slamming onto the floor just in time for his bike to cartwheel over him and run over his own head. Although he managed to pick himself back up from that and continue for the rest of the night and rest of the weekend uninjured. Now that's pretty lucky if you ask me. This carnage continued on into the main event. Barsha, Canard and Paulin ran away with it to battle it out and eventually finish in that order. However, the most bizarre thing that took place in that main event happened a little further down the field, with Andrew Short doing his best Ryan Dungey, Ryan Villapoto impersonation and forgetting to use the Joker lane. Oops. Resulting in a 15-second penalty. Ouch. You'd think that after watching the two riders embarrass themselves at the Monster Energy Cup, these riders would have it engraved into their brains to remember these pesky Joker lanes. Although, in Short's defence, when he was asked about this incident, he is quoted as saying, "I must have left my brain back in the States." I hate it when that happens. I'm just going to take a break from talking about the on-track action for a minute, just to say how much I like the Bercy format. We've got enough traditional racing with the heats and the main events to keep things real and let the best men win, but we've also got the elimination races and the Super Pole to mix things up and keep it interesting. And in my opinion, the Super Poles and the elimination races are really quite cool, really quite intense. Especially at this event, when you just know that the entire crowd is urging for a Frenchie to go out there and lay a whooping on some Yanks. It would be pretty cool to see a Super Pole or an elimination race like this at one of the AMA Supercross events. Well, not necessarily in one of the AMA Supercross Championship rounds, but I mean just with the best Supercross riders on the best Supercross tracks. Don't you think that would be pretty cool? Let me know in the comments below. Getting back to the racing, Saturday night saw Barsha and Canard again gracing the first two steps of the podium, with Andrew Short making things up in third place. Also on Saturday night, Barsha reminded us all where his nickname derives from, as he put in one of the hardest block passes in recent memory on his very own teammate Trey Canard. Was this too aggressive? Decide for yourselves, there's a link in the description down below. Some would say no, Robin's racing and all of that. Maybe if it was a points paying, money winning opportunity in the AMA Supercross Championship, then it would be a different story. But it's not. For an off-season friendly international race, it was a little over the top. It wasn't even a last lap, last ditch effort. As I say, a little over the top. Especially considering the guy he did it to is his very own teammate. He was lucky he didn't do it to one of the French guys. Otherwise, he may have had a repeat of 2011 on his hands. And that would not have been pretty. Anyway, as they say, forgive and forget. But Canard did stick it to Justin in Sunday night's main event. Like the good Christian he is, Canard got his own back the right way by just straight up beating Barsha and winning the main event. Stopping Justin from getting that free race sweep, that's how to do it, Trey. Despite that though, Barsha still managed to claim the King of Bercy crown with Canard in second. And in third, even after his brain malfunction on Friday night, Andrew Short still managed to make it to the third step of the podium. And an honourable mention goes to the youngster Cooper Webb for putting in some great rides in one of his first Supercross events on a 450 that he's not all that used to. I'm going to be looking out for him to do some damage in the 250 Supercross class in 2014. Moving on to something oh so different now. If you haven't seen or heard about this over the past week, then well, you must have been living under a rock. Red Bull last week unveiled their latest top secret experiment, Straight Rhythm. It's what it says on the tin really, a straight rhythm section for half a mile for riders to race one-on-one, head-to-head. It's freaking awesome. Imagine the Mad Skills motocross game for your iPhone, but in real life, then you've got the Red Bull Straight Rhythm. Freaking awesome, right? And I can tell you now, that after watching the official video that Red Bull released last week, every single dirt bike rider under the sun said, oh man, I'd love to have a go on that. And for good reason, it looks like a blast. If you can nail whoops and hit that triple, quad, triple rhythm at breakneck speeds, that is. So maybe it's not for the average weekend warrior, but it does have so much potential, and Red Bull could do something really cool with it. Head-to-head elimination tournaments would be awesome to watch. There's the potential for a whole new discipline in the sport here. So you just have to ask, where are Red Bull going to take this? Just a few ideas. It would make for one kick-ass X Games event, but I reckon Red Bull would want to do more with it than just that. I'm thinking that Red Bull are using this as an experiment to see whether it could become a rival event to the Monster Energy Cup. With big money on the line and a head-to-head tournament format, that could be seriously cool. And if one thing's for sure, Red Bull Straight Rhythm proves once again just how much cooler dirt bike racing is than car racing. That's it again for another week, and it's time for our big question. In the wake of Straight Rhythm, I ask you, what will they come up with next? Have you got any ideas for some seriously cool formats and events like this? What would be awesome? What would be insane? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I've been Too Fast Max, and this has been The Plug. And if you've enjoyed this week's episode, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And go check out dirtbikerider.com for all of your latest motocross news. And finally, if you like what you've seen and you want to see more, click right here to see more.